Right. All right, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. We have Blowout Alert. Blowout Alert. New app. Just pumped, guys, to be coming to you with this right now. We just rolled it out. We're going heavy live with it starting tomorrow on Tequila Thursday. Blowout Alert. Best data and analytics in the business. What I'm going to do is walk you guys through 3 games today. That's going to be the Hawks, the Cavs. We're going to look at a couple player props. We're going to do the Timberwolves, the Magic, and then lastly, we're going to do the Thunder and the Clippers. We do have 2 blowout alerts on the slate. Be careful playing anything out of the Bucks game today, as well as that Memphis game today. Both of those games could turn into blowouts, especially on the Detroit side and the Nuggets side. So if you have players on those teams, you could see an uptick from bench players or role players that are going to get extra minutes if it turns into a blowout. And then obviously some of those starters like Jokic who are going to have higher lines, like a PRA of 51.5. He may miss that due to the fact that they're up so big and they don't need him in the game. Not to say it's going to happen, but that is the side, and that is what the red bar or the red alert sign is for. It's alerting you that there's more of a heavier chance to have blowouts. And what we see there is there's actually value on the other players, the lower level players, not the Jokic's, not the Jamal Murray's, not the Jalen Duran's, but the guys who are going to pick up a couple extra minutes when those guys come off the floor. That's where the value is. And typically in a blowout, those guys are already scoring the ball a little bit more as well. So they already have a better advantage to hit their line. So that's just an outlook on how we have this thing set up. Best data analytics in the game. Sometimes you guys ask me, hey, how do you get your reads? How do you handicap this? How do you do that? I have 2 different processes. Really, what I'll do is I'll start in the morning. I'll look at the lines. If I see, like Steph Curry for 23.5 points, I look at it and I have this rule of thumb. My rule of thumb is how often does he exceed that number by 20%? It's not saying he needs to do it 20% out of the time, that meaning 2 out of 10 times he exceeds that number. No, I want him to exceed. If he's 23.5 points, I want to know that he clears that by a minimum of 4 to 5 points more often than he goes under that by 4 to 5 points. Now, let's say he goes under that number more by 4 or 5 more often than he does on the over. That's when I favor the under, and it goes vice versa. So if like their line's 20% of 20 is 4, right? So I'm looking for him to get to 24, 25 more often than him getting to 15, 16, 17. So that's how I decide if there's a true edge there. I call it 20% rule. And I just work my way through it, guys. In this data here, in this blowout alert, it's going to give you the best data and analytics. You don't have to go line by line through the books. Go Google, go this, do that. And that's what we're going to get into today. So let's get straight into it, man. We've got a great slate today. We have a 7 game slate. A couple plays I really like. We're starting to get to that point in the season where we're seeing some teams lay down, where they're really not giving a damn, not even making a push for the play-in. It feels like, and it feels like a couple teams are actually playing for that seeding. So with that said, man, let's get into this first slate. Let's get into this first game. We're going to go ahead and hit this Atlanta Hawks Cavs game. Earlier today, it looked like the Hawks were not, or the Cavs were not going to play James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. Right now, if you go down here, it looks like Donovan Mitchell is questionable. I'm guessing he is probably going to suit up. Jalen Tyson doesn't sway it for me. But look, this Hawks team is really healthy, man. And if you look at Jalen Johnson, let's just jump on in here to Jalen Johnson real quick. We look at some of his metrics over the last couple games: 21, 18, 18, 20, 26, 29, 27, right? He's played really, really good ball. But something I want to look at is his matchup. How's he performed against this team in the past, right? Like he's had a couple matchups here. He typically averages 29 and 6, right? He's not as involved on the assist side of things when he plays them, but he still has a really good prop line there. I think there's some value that we can find inside Jalen Johnson today as far as his player prop lines, along with Nikhil Alexander Walker. Like we go in here, he's been balling out, man. He's been automatic for 20. 8 out of the last 10 games, he's exceeded 20 points. His PRA has been alive. Now, all of those things, once again, we'll go into the matchup side here. Scroll down. He's averaging only 10, 3, and 2 against this team. And Cavs are pretty good about shutting down the guards. I do think he has a good game here today, but my eyes are on like a Jalen Johnson, excuse me, or like a Anika Akanugu, however the hell I say his name, buddy. But hey, man, what we're looking here for is just a little bit of edges. You know, his field goal percentage points allowed, things like that. The defender assignment versus Cleveland, that also has an impact. So who's he going to be guarding tonight? Those are all things we want to look at, and all that information is in here, right? So something else that I love about this is like I'm already talking about Walker and how he's played. We just go to his hit rate and look at what he's been great at the last couple games. So he's been really good at points. We already knew that. But I told you his PRAs and his PAs and all that have been alive. Like his points and assists have been great. His average line has been, right around 21, 22, 23. Now you go in here and you look at it. These are where his lines have been 23 and a half, 24 and a half, 22 and a half, 21 and a half. He's been exceeding all of those, all of them, right? So if you can get anything today on Alexander Walker around a 23 and a half on the points and assists, I do like it, but I do lean more towards the Jalen Johnson plays today. And we'll go over here and take a look at his hit rates. He's been a little slow on everything. He hasn't been rebounding the ball as well. 3 points made. That was my favorite play of the day for him. They had him at a 1.5 over, right around even money. And if you look, he's been knocking down about two a game consistently. And the Cavs do live with giving up threes. So I would say, this is a side to lean, maybe sprinkle a little bit on this, and then take Jalen Johnson for like I think he does have a good game tonight. I don't think he hits his point total. They've got that a little bit juiced today. Um, but I do think he's good for 20. I think he's going to get you 20, anywhere between 18 to 22 today. So I would rather just take the 20 plus point line for Jalen Johnson and like 8 rebounds and call it a day, put that in my parlay. But I really like the Jalen Johnson on the 3 pointers made, 1.5 on the over. Now, if we scroll down here and we take a look at our props, what you're going to see here is it does recommend that, I believe, for Jalen Johnson, or it was when I was looking at it last night. Um, Maybe it's on the DFS side of things. Nope, I don't see it. But yeah, the 1.5 3 pointers, I really like it. Um, But here, like, let's take a look here. You have the gauges going, showing that they like Sam Merrill for points. They like him for 10 points. I don't hate that either. He's good for a couple threes. He can hit that easy. Max Strauss for points and rebounds. I love that play. The 15 and a half on the over. He's going to have to play well tonight in this spot. They got Jared Allen recommended for points and rebounds, 23 and a half. So what I typically do is I would look at something like this and I dive in. Let's take a look at Jared Allen for 23 and a half. He hasn't been averaging that great of points. And he hasn't really even been rebounding the ball that well. Like here, he would have missed that line. He would have hit it here. He would have missed it here. So he would have missed it. He would have hit it here. He's hitting that line about 50% of the time. For me, that doesn't make me feel great about it. And then we jump down here and look at his matchups. Well, in the past, when he's played the Hawks, he doesn't score the ball very well. The 3 games this year, he's been at single digit points, but he's rebounded the ball really well. Like he would have hit his line just off of rebounds in the second game this season, or the second game this season back in January, and then here he would have missed it. So he's hitting this line about 15% of the time. I'm not in love with the over on 23 and a half for points and rebounds on Jared Allen, and that's kind of how I come up with the outlook, right? Like how often is he clearing that number by 4 to 5? Like okay, he cleared it by 4 here. He missed it by a lot here. He cleared it here by like 1, missed it by a lot here, cleared it by a lot here, cleared it by like 2 here. So cleared it by a lot. But those were games from last year and the year before. He had been playing much better ball. I don't think Jared Allen has looked that sharp this year. He's done okay, but he hasn't looked great. Now, look at the Jalen Johnson PRA. I think we're already on the same page. I'm not a huge fan of the Jalen Johnson PRA today. I do like him for about 20 points and 8. Dyson Daniels, keep an eye on him for 2 to 3 steals. He's always active. And the only difference is James Harden doesn't make a lot of poor decisions, and they'll keep the ball in his hands a lot tonight. So I don't love the steals on Dyson Daniels as much as I do usually, but I do like him for 10 points tonight. That 11 and a half should be live as well. Let's go ahead and dive in there. He's been right around 11 every game. But what I like about Dyson Daniels is he puts up enough shots, he puts up enough field goal attempts here to get himself 12 points. So for me personally, I like that play, the 11 and a half on the over for points on Dyson Daniels. Um, if you look at the matchup history, he averages right around 10. So it's not a long stretch for him to have a chance at it. But once again, let's go back to the rule of thumb. Does he exceed that line by 20% of the time? And he doesn't. He's only exceeded it by 20% one time. So by my standards, this wouldn't be a great play. it would be a decent play. And what we're looking for is a great play. And for me, I liked the Jalen Johnson over 1.5 threes most out of this slate today. And probably would say I also like James Harden for 6 assists. I don't know how much value you're going to find there. Maybe this Evan Mobley for 26. Plus rebounds might be a good one. And these are DFS plays here, guys. But outside that, I just wanted to review the player props here. As far as the game line goes and the game line totals, I'm going to have to lean the Hawks here tonight, man. I think that they come in, they're younger, they have an intensity. You've got a banged up Harden, you got a banged up Donovan Mitchell. I don't like the way the Cavs have played. I know they got a 50 and 29 record. I know they're looking solid right now in the conference. But I want the Hawks money line. I think they have a chance to win this thing outright. I know they're on the road. I know they're both these teams are rested, but I believe this feels a little trappy in my opinion. The line is favoring the guys that are injured. Like there's two guys who are not fully healthy right now, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. And I personally believe that Jalen Johnson, Nickel Walker, Alexander, this younger team with Risker and Dyson Daniels and all these guys that can really get after it and play good defense and rebound the ball well, they come out here and they get a win tonight, approaching the playoffs. So give me those guys on the money line. I don't need the points. You can keep them. Let's keep it moving into the next one, guys. This next one is going to be the Timberwolves and the Orlando Magic. So first thing we want to jump to is the injury report here. Injury report. We got Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, both questionable. Rudy Gobert is a big factor for me in this one. I don't like to see Dasamunu out. Edwards and Randall have already been ruled out here. Um, so look, I saw this line last night and I thought to myself, man, I should grab it. Now the line's jumped to 10 and a half. I don't love it at 10 and a half as much, but the Magic are going to win this thing handedly, in my opinion. I think they win this thing and they cover that spread. Last night, the line was sitting right around -6 plus 6.5. Um, I liked it then. I thought to myself, man, there's a good chance I like this. There's something going on here. And come to find out this morning, a couple other guys have been ruled out, Julius Randle and Dasamunu, and now you got Gobert questionable. So I think Gobert does end up sitting. I think this is a lay down spot for the Timberwolves. And this is a spot for the Magic. They're going to keep winning. They're on a 3 game win streak. They're on 1 day's rest. They're at home. I think Orlando wins this thing by double digits. They cover the spread. I think alt line is active as well. You could always do like an alt line and Banchero for like 6 rebounds, and that should get you in right around even money. But yeah, man, give me the Orlando Magic. I'll lay the points -10, and then we'll dive into a couple player props here. So first, we're going to just jump right straight down to our props for the day. Take a look at what we got. It's giving us the favorite of the day. It looks like Anthony Black points and assists. So let's jump on in there and look at the Anthony Black points and assists because I had been printing money on this all year long, and I really had liked the Anthony Black points and assists. Um, and from that standpoint, we're just going to go to the matchup right now and see where he's matched up with him. There's not a lot of history with him against this team. And if you look at the history, it's very low. And that kind of, you know, impacts the numbers. But a lot of their top players are out tonight, and those are the guys that he's played in the past. Anthony Black had dealt with some injuries, hadn't looked as great as of late as he did about a month or two ago. But what I will say is about Anthony Black is um, he does assist the ball really well. I know Suggs is back in the lineup, which will impact that a little bit, impact his minutes as well. But like, let's go here and just take a look at his points and assists total, right? Like 20% in the last 10. His hit rate overall is 27. Um, it hasn't looked good, man. I know he hasn't played a ton of games as of late. We don't have a lot of data to go off of, but like this is that stretch that I was talking about earlier in the year, about a month or two ago. This is when he was really on a run, and is recommending us to take that all the way. I like it, but it's one of those things where you still have to dive in here and look for the edge. And I think that the edge here isn't to Black points and assists um, tonight. I don't think he'll see enough uptick in minutes to hit that number. Uh, if it at 11 and a half though, it's got value to it because if you look at everything, even on his rough games, he was right around that number or right over it. So the 11 and a half, that's why it's pitch and value. He might be on a limits restriction. I'm going to fade that one, but that is something to look at. I do like that play there a little bit on Anthony Black. So just because it's such a low line, and if he gets real minutes, then that's definitely alive and well. Look, they're without most of their really good guards tonight. I think the two spots to really look at guys tonight, in my opinion, is going to be this De Silva line and this Desmond Bain line. I like this De Silva line a lot. I think his line should normally be around 15 and a half to 16 and a half. I believe we have a nice advantage here. Look, it's telling us his average is 18 and a half. Uh, and this game could get blowout potential. He could get in there. He could get extra minutes. Give me Tristan De Silva. I like this game a lot. Now, like, look, 12 points, 19 points, 9, 9, 12, 18, and 18. We know that he's anywhere between a 9 to 15-point a game guy. We know he is. We know that he takes about 10 shots to 6 shots a game. He knocks down anywhere between 1 to 3 threes a game. Typically on this streak, he had 3 the other day, 1 the other day, 1, 3, 3, 3. So he knocks down anywhere between 1 to 3 threes a game, which is worthy of 9 points, right? I like this play a lot tonight, guys. He rebounds the ball fairly well. Doesn't get a ton of assists, but he does a good enough job that if you take his point and assist, he could get that outright for you. Or you could take him on the PRA, which is what I really love, because he can get that for you right there. Look, on an off night, 12, 4, and 1. He's covering that right around his average, right? 19, 5, and 1. Got it. Covered off the points. This one here, 9, 2, and 6. Covered off the assist and the points. Play right there, guys. Really great player prop. This Tristan De Silva player prop right here. PRA 13 and a half. I really like it. Desmond Bain, the 23 and a half. I like this just for the simple fact Desmond Bain scores the ball well enough. They're going to be without Randall. They're going to be without McDaniels. They're going to be without Dasamunu. Going to be without Did I already say Jaden McDaniels? Can't fucking remember. But if I did, they're going to be without those guys. That leaves DiVincenzo on an island to cover Suggs, Bain, all these guys. And I know they have a couple other players on that, you know, on that Timberwolves team with Highland and Clark and a couple other guys, but they're just not to the level, in my opinion, of a Desmond Bain. I could see Desmond Bain getting 20 to 25 easy tonight. I do like that line at 23 and a half, just off the fact that he should get anywhere between 2 to 3 rebounds at least. And this is what we're going to look at. I just told you 2 to 3 rebounds is his bad days, right? And he's been on a 25. He's been on a nice little streak here. And for them to continue to win, they need him to step up and score the ball like that. So, guys, matchup as well. We'll go in here and take a look at it. Historically, he's played really well against the Timberwolves. I like this play a lot. My 2 top player props out of this game is going to be this one here, Desmond Bain and Tristan De Silva. Remember, guys, always use this for data analytics. Just because it's recommending Anthony Black at 11 and a half doesn't necessarily mean that's the best play on the board out of these recommendations. The reason it's such a great play is because of the chance, because of his average, what he does when he is healthy. But once again, what we saw earlier in the year was those average numbers got spiked because he was on a hot streak. Dealing with a little bit of an injury here recently, dropped some of those numbers. I'm not going to chase this one, but I do like these two with De Silva and Desmond Bain. Go ahead and take those. And I already told you guys, I think Magic cover, lay the number, -10, -11. Keep it moving. All right. On to this last game that I'm going to give you guys, and then I'll give you my takes on the other ones here at the top, and then we'll wrap it up. I appreciate you guys rocking with me once again. Blowout alert! I have the link on my story. You can sign up. You can try the free pass, and then upgrade to Elite. If you want to give Elite a shot, you get all the same information that I have. You get all the plays, and man, look, I'll show you guys even this. Look, uh, first basket scorer. It will show you first basket scorers, guys who scored in the first 3 minutes of the last 5 games, right? If you guys like to play first baskets, there you go. If you want to know quarter scores, guys who score consistently more than 3 points each quarter, we were just talking about him, Desmond Bain. I like Desmond Bain for 3 points in each quarter today, as well as a first basket. So, like, there's a lot of great information in here that you can help yourself create better, sharper parlays. And I've said it a million times, day traders pay thousands and tens and twenties of thousands of dollars for like the Bloomberg software and reports and all the edges you can get to try to make more profitable trades long term. That's the same thing you're doing in sports betting. So many people get addicted to the fact that it's like, okay, I can bet 100 and win 100. I can bet 10 and win 1,000. Like, that's part of the point of it. One of the reasons why I parlay isn't because parlays are the most profitable. It's just the easiest to make money quickly in a big chunk. But you have to give yourself an edge to get there. And you also have to hedge with smart bets. And I believe a smart bet tonight, in my opinion, could be this side here for the Clippers. Look, the Clippers, they're on a back-to-back, but so are the Thunder. Thunder are rolling, but the Clippers are eighth in their conference. They're 22 and 17 at home. They're a much better team at home than they are on the road. It doesn't matter where the Thunder play you, they're a great team. Look, I think this is a get up game tonight for the Clippers. I really like them in this spot. I want the 7 points in my pocket. I don't know if the Clippers necessarily win this thing outright, but I do like the Clippers tonight in this spot. Give me the +7. I want that +7 in my pocket here. I could see this being a 3 to 4 to 5 point win for the Thunder and that +7 being very relevant. I don't think this thing turns into a blowout, man. Kawhi Leonard, he is such a great player. He's been playing really good ball. Look at these numbers, man. 34, 26, 24, 23, 20, 28, 27. Yeah, he's missed some of those lines because he had inflated his lines with these numbers right here, right? And what we're going to look at here is what has he been doing really well? Well, what he's been doing really well is what Cooper Flag has been doing really well, in my opinion, all year. And that's rebounding the ball, man. If you can get his line anywhere around 5.5, it's always a hammer. 6.5, I don't love as much, but he still has those 8 rebound games. For me, the number for Kawhi Leonard is 6 rebounds. That's what I would say if you wanted to play it like DFS wise. 6 rebounds, 5 rebounds. That's a safe play. But the 5.5 line is what you'd want to try and get for Kawhi Leonard if you can find it. They'll probably have it set around 6.5. I haven't dove into that one yet. But yeah, that's going to be where his average line typically is. But yeah, he's been playing really good ball. And then you kind of come over here and you take a look at what SGA has done, and let's look at the star players. Just because the star players is what we know, you got to remember Vegas juices their lines. Um, and you have to find those guys on the right nights. You know, look at SGA's points. We know he's great, but they always have him right around 30, 28, 28. Like he's got to go out and drop a 30 bomb every night for you to cover, right? Like so he's hitting right around 45%, 50, not even 37% of the time on his point line over the last 25 games. Like, guys, this is what I'm talking about. You got to look at it. I see so many guys take SGA, but like even if you took SGA for the 25 standard, which is typically probably around like a -400, which doesn't have a ton of value unless you're pairing it with something that's like -200 or -115, like but then again, you're just better off taking him for something else. Like he's not even hitting that line that often. He would have missed the 25 here. He would have avoided it here. He would have missed it here. He would have missed it here. Would have avoided it there. Um, he hits the 25 way more than he hits his actual scoring line. But yeah, that's just something to look at, guys. Keep it in mind. Once again, injury report. Jalen Williams is probably going to play tonight. There's really nobody in this lineup here for the Clippers that impacts the game. All I'm looking for is to see that Kawhi Leonard, Darius Garland, John Collins, Benedict Mathurin, Chris Dunn. Those guys are going. Those are the most important players. I really like them a lot. I think that those guys are the backbone of this team, and they're going to help this thing move. They're going to help move the train tonight. So long as they're playing, I've got no worries. All right. So let's jump on down here. Let's take a look at these props really quick and see if there's anyone that I love more than others. Just off the rip, I kind of already seeing that I like that Chet Holmgren 24.5 on the PRA. I might like his points and rebounds more because he doesn't necessarily assist the ball a ton. Um, like if you see, I just said he goes games without getting an assist, right? So I would look more towards his points and his rebounds and his matchup as well on the points and rebounds. If you look, he rebounds the ball pretty well and scores the ball fairly well. I mean, he has had these 2 games there last year or in November 24th and then the previous season as well. There's not a lot of data to go off with these teams. They don't play as often. But what he did do this past year in December, he did have a great 22, 7, and 2 outing. I think that's my outlook on him tonight is he's probably good for around 18 and 8 is my thought. He'll get you around 7 to 8 rebounds. He'll get you around 18 points. That's enough to cover that 24.5 on the PRA alone. Now, if you can go out there and find his points and rebounds around 22.5, I like it even more. So that's something to think on as well with Chet Holmgren is if you go here and we look and we see what his average line is on the points and rebounds, um, it's probably going to be right around that 23, okay, 23 and a half, 22 and a half. Like if you can get it for 22 and a half, 23 and a half, I like it a lot. But they were just saying his PRA was today set at like a 23 and a half or 24 and a half here. I would rather you guys just go take the points and rebounds. I don't think the assists are going to be hella relevant. But yeah, you can go either way. Points and rebounds, PRA. He should be able to get you both of those, especially if he goes with my line that I think he's going to get, which is 18 and 8. So yeah, man, that's a play that I like out of this one right out the gate. I could tell. So we run through a couple others. The PRA on Harkenstein, that's just because he rebounds the ball well and he scores, anywhere between 6 to 10 a game um, under the basket. Look, he only got 10 minutes last game. His minutes haven't been great. He had this little stretch here, but only got six. Rebounds it really well, which is enough to cover that line. But I'm not in love with that. I'm not going to take it. I know that the thermometer is saying, hey, it's a great play. He averages 21. It's at 17 and a half today. I'll be okay to fade that one. Um, I think I'd be happy to just pump the brakes on it and stay there. And I told you guys, I thought Kawhi Leonard's going to have a good game. They have his line at 25 and a half. I like him for the over on 25 and a half. I really do. Um, and if you just kind of look at his matchup, I know there's not a ton of matchup history here, but 22, 25, 20. Um, I think he has a good game. I think he has a better game than that. He hasn't broke 25 yet, so it feels a little bit trappy there. Um, but I believe he has a good game today. He's been playing much better ball. Look, this this dosage that you're getting a glimpse at is what he's done this past year, right? Like what has he done this past year? Uh, in the last time they played was December 18th, 2025. I like Kawhi Leonard here. He played really well last time he played him. You might want to glance at Kawhi Leonard's PRA actually today. That might be the safer play if you can get that thing around 36 to 38. But I do like Kawhi Leonard on the over for points as well. Or you could just take him for that standard 25 plus points. All right. That's kind of where I'm at on that, guys. And if we could slide over here to the DFS prop side, take a look at what they got going on. Um, Look, it's already recommending Kawhi for 20. I think that's a given on the DFS side. Case and Wallace for two steals. I don't believe he's getting enough minutes to get two steals, so I wouldn't be jumping all over that one. Um, Chet Holmgren, like I said, I think he's good for 8 rebounds, but you can take him for six. There's definitely some good opportunities here in this application today. And once again, man, that's where I'm at. The three games that I'm going to give you guys that I'm leaning towards, I'm giving you the Hawks over the Cavs. I'm giving you the Clippers getting +7. And I believe that the Magic cover by double digits, -10, -11, wherever that shakes out. As far as the blowout alert goes, um, you've got you've got the spread set at 21 against the Pistons. The Pistons, they're on a day of rest. Denver as well. They're laying a big number. Um, Question is, are these guys going to really play? Because what we're seeing about some of these bad teams is they're not really stepping up and playing. These are pretty big numbers to lay. I kind of like the Bucks in this spot tonight to cover that number plus 21 and a half on the road. As far as the Grizzlies go, playing in Mile High City, I think they get blown out. I do think that the Nuggets cover. But once again, this team has played pretty good defense all year. They've been a fairly good covering machine um, because they've been getting some really big point spreads. But they're just, look at this injury report, man. Just everybody's out. And they're playing in Denver where it's already hard enough to win. Give me the Denver Nuggets to cover this thing. They win by 30. And then lastly, we go into the Spurs. They're without Wemby tonight. Um, they're without Stephon Castle. You're going to give me 3.5 with the Trailblazers. I'm going to have to take it, especially with them kind of being on the bubble out there in the West. Go ahead and give me the Trailblazers tonight plus 3.5. Feels like a spot for them in this moment. But yeah, man, that's where we're at. This is Blowout Alert, guys. Go to my story, go into my chats. I have the link. You can sign up here for free. You can get a good chunk of information off of this site for free, and then you can upgrade to Elite and get all the information that I'm showing you guys today. Play around with it. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to myself. And we will have a support group as well coming to you very soon where you can drop questions and feedback in there as well for us. So really that's where it's at, guys. This is the show, prediction show today, OTB Spreads Blowout Alert. Hopefully you got some information off of it. Hopefully the player props was fun and cool for you as well. And lastly, man, here's the first basket. Let's cook a first basket today. Let's go Jamal Murray. Let's go Desmond Bain. And let's go Jalen Durant. How about that? That's a three-leg first basket. Let's go ahead and cook that up, put it out there in the world and see what we fucking do. Let's book the one way. It is Wednesday. You can use the code EDGE to save 30% on my premium sequence plays. Use the code EDGE. Get an edge, guys. That's simple as that, man. All right. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.